Hey, welcome back to the JMach Podcast. Today, I'd like to introduce Daniel, a U.S. Army veteran, and his fluffy poodle, the #1 service dog in America. And he is here to motivate you. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate being on the JMach Podcast and being able to come out here to the Phoenix, Arizona area and really tell our story to motivate your listeners and inspire them to not just get to where they want to be and not to follow their dreams, but ultimately live them. Live your dreams to the fullest, brother.
Beautiful, man. You couldn't have said it any better. So how are you doing today?
You know, I've been watching and listening to your podcast for quite some time. And I knew you were going to ask this question. And I didn't prepare myself for a reason. Because I needed to be honest.
Absolutely.
How am I doing? Similar to a lot of other people all around the world, to be honest. Some days are great, and some days is a major struggle. Staying in isolation, a little bit of depression every now and then, anxiety. But ultimately, you know, setting those short-term and long-term goals, that's what really helps me getting through things. I know that sound like cliche right there, and that's a typical textbook answer, but honestly, it's appreciating just waking up every day, and you seeing that sunrise, that's the ultimate start of the day. And that's an accomplishment. Everything else is extra. And sometimes we just have to really look at what we have and being thankful for it. So this morning, I didn't wake up in the best attitude. Didn't wake up in the best mood. But when I seen that sunrise when it came up and I realized that I'm just alive today, it made my world a little bit better.
That's awesome. How are you actually doing now that you gave me a politically correct answer that you didn't prepare?
That's honestly how I'm doing.
Okay.
On the inside, I want to jump for joy and really just go out there and live my dreams. It's harder than just talking about it and doing it.
For sure.
Standing in front of a camera, talking on a microphone. It's like, you know you're going to mess up. But realistically, who cares?
Absolutely. Some of the best advice I was given was when I was throwing an event, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the gentlemen that I looked up to that was helping me with it, he told me, bro, when you're in the middle of this, just take a moment and pause. Don't worry about who's not there, what's not there. You're the only one that knows what's going wrong. Everybody else is there enjoying what you're doing and what you have going on. So just take a moment and be grateful for what you have and what you created. And Absolutely. That's what I want to tell you right now. So fucking up on this microphone. I do it every day, and I'm sure about 2 times in this interview I'm going to be like, I forgot. My train of thought just went out the window. But that's okay, dude. We're human, and I love that because it's the raw, real version of life and who we are as people, right? Not everybody can talk properly for hours on end or at all, right? I say, I stutter still, you know? It's all a work in progress, but like you said, just got to be grateful for waking up in the morning. Now that gratefulness that you talk about, when did you start instilling that in your life?
Well, when I got out the military, I struggled like a lot of other veterans to find my purpose, and I thought very negatively, tying knots, stepping on ledges. I call them throat bullets. We all know what that means. You know, thinking completely negative. Mm-hmm. Until one day I heard Mr. Rod Rodriguez from the Global War on Terrorism Foundation. He's the president. He said this sentence that kind of changed my life. He said it would be a disservice to all those veterans, all those people, all those service members who are not here anymore if we didn't continue to live our life every day to its fullest, because they would love to have the opportunity that we have. So when I heard that, that was my rock bottom, because everybody's rock bottom, everybody's sentence, everybody's experience is different. But when I heard that, it was like, man, I can't step on that ledge anymore. I can't tie that noose. I can't do any of that anymore, because all those brothers and sisters who aren't here anymore would love to just be able to be on this microphone, to tell their story, to ultimately motivate everybody all around the world. Because that's what we need to do, letting everybody know that you're not alone with what you're going through. Everybody struggles. Most people just hide it better than others.
Absolutely. So let's talk about where those struggles all started from. And can you tell me a little bit about your childhood?
Oh, yeah. Well, first, let me crack open this. Oh, yeah. Do you hear that? Liquid death. Ooh. Mountain water. Outstanding. So, childhood. See how I kind of redirected that for a reason? Childhood was a struggle, brother. Childhood was a major struggle. I'm a survivor of the main type of abuses. And when I say the main, the physical, mental, and sexual abuse, all under the age of 15 years old. It was very rough growing up, bouncing from different foster homes, a group home, shelter. Didn't really have the parents there that I needed. My mom did the best that she could, but at the same time, her circumstances were different from a lot of people's. So childhood was very difficult. And during all of that, I always remembered I had good people around who would always tell me the right thing, would always lead me in the right direction. And that most of the time growing up, I didn't care. But each one of them were all veterans. And it also influenced me to continue to always watch military movies. So during my childhood, I always looked up to the military as that's what was a true man, and and true individuals who took care of not just the community, but people in general. So I always had that vision of growing up of joining the military. So out of all of that I went through, I never stopped having that dream that I ultimately accomplished of joining the military when I turned 18 years old. So yeah, childhood was rough, and I've been through a lot of things, but I still didn't stop following and living my dreams and getting to where I wanted to go.
Okay. And you feel that it was the veterans in your life at that time that helped you get through all that negativity that you faced?
Absolutely. Because growing up, I didn't trust a lot of people. I couldn't view them as real men, as real human beings, because who would do this type of stuff to children? It didn't make sense. But then I see these military veterans and these great people really taking care of the community, taking their time off away from their family to spend time with me, to go take me to events, to go, go to restaurants, going to do things that I've never got to experience. Because here's another thing. I was raised so poor that, my mom would catch me underneath the kitchen table eating butter because that's all we had in the refrigerator. Think about this. When you're poor, all the condiments are gone. Everything's gone out the refrigerator. But what's the only thing left is a stick of butter, right?
Yeah.
When that's all you have, that's what I ate.
That's a carnivore diet snack.
Oh, and that's why I still love the butter to this day, loaded on that baked potato.
Okay,
but
absolutely.
you can turn everything positive, and you try to look at the best in the situations, and that's where ultimately I looked at those veterans and the people who helped me as real individuals that I needed to look up to, and that's all I had as mentors at that time.
Terrible situation, but great outcome.
Absolutely.
I'll say. What would you tell little Daniel now that you've worked through some of it? What would you tell yourself while you were going through it? Like, what did you feel like you needed to hear?
For the listeners who are not watching, I'm closing my eyes and I'm tearing up right now. What would I tell my little self? That you're not alone. That's the biggest thing with everybody all around the world, is you're not alone with whatever you're going through, past, currently, or in the future. Somebody around the world has been through what you're going through or something similar. Not everybody's willing to tell their story like I am. Not everybody wants to. I do it to ultimately to also let people know, again, you are not alone with what you're going through, because a lot of those times I did feel alone. Those volunteers, those people who help out, they're only there temporary.
Right.
And then they go back. So you're like, now I'm alone again. Is this going to happen again? What's going to go on? Well, I don't know what's going to happen the next second, the next night, the next morning. But when you have these volunteers, times are great. But when they're gone again, I'm alone. But nobody's alone. So I tell my story, let them know that, hey, there's books, there's support. Let's get you everything, and let's make that schedule so you're squared away and you don't ever feel like I did at one time.
I'm sorry that you had to feel that way. And that feeling of being alone, It's terrible, especially if you carry it into your adult life, right? Now you're being an adult trying to work through those issues. For me, example, I'm surrounded by my family, my wife, my kids, and sometimes in the midst of it, I still feel alone. Like nobody gets me, nobody understands me, and it's a struggle. What tools or coping mechanisms or therapies have you tried or used that have worked for you in healing your inner child?
When it comes to specifically my inner child and healing all of those, acknowledging that it actually happened. That's point blank. It happened. It's true. And we can't change the past. Acknowledge it, and let's assess what happened and work through it. We're not working over it. We're not putting it in the past. You have to work through what has happened. Now, what has happened for me and how I work through it is going to be different from somebody else.
Absolutely.
But how I did it is literally, I faced it. And I talked about it with myself, with counselors, with other veterans, with other support systems. Anybody and everybody who just wanted to listen. I needed to talk. Just like on here. A lot of people just want somebody to talk to. Somebody to listen to them. Just as even nod their head. Be an ear to just vent. It's communicating.
Absolutely. Yeah, communication's hard. And then it's also like you want to open up to certain people that you feel comfortable with, but then you also need to realize those aren't the right people to open up to. Mm-hmm. What I mean is, like, your biggest supporters are not going to be your friends and family that you think it is. It's going to be the strangers. It's going to be people that you never expected. Not that your family can't support you, but they're not going to support unless they, from day one of your life, they've been supporting you the way that you feel like you needed support. Nothing's going to change if you go to them now, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why I guess I'm talking to you, but I'm really fucking trying to tell myself this shit, right? Like, I'm so excited for this podcast and the growth that we're having. You fucking flew out here on your own dime to be on my podcast, bro. That says something. And I got to think higher of myself for that, right? Here's the first time I lost my train of thought, right? But I think I was talking about, I want to go to my wife or my parents and tell them what I'm excited about and what I'm grateful for. But the advice and the response that I get from them is not meant to be disappointing, but to me it becomes discouraging because their way of showing me love and support is to warn me of what could go wrong. And to me, that's not encouraging to go forward. Like, it makes me feel like, why even try? Why even step out of my comfort zone? Why even do things if I'm always going to fail or something's always going wrong? But what I'm learning is to accept failure, embrace failure. I'm starting to love failure because I'm one failure away from success. I'm one no away from the yes that's going to change my family's life for generations.
I agree.
And so I'm going to keep pushing forward.
You're never going to learn if you don't try.
Absolutely.
You have to try. And that's ultimately what I do as well, is just go in with an open mind. I mean, when, like you said a second ago, I flew out here. I flew over 1,000 miles from the state of Kentucky to come over here and to spend time with you. Absolutely. When you're adding the value that you do to not just the veteran community, but the community all around the nation and the world, why not be a part of it? And going back to, you told me to go on you said, trust me, Daniel, you got to go down this road and try something new, okay? I went down this long road, ended up on a valley on the side of a mountain, looking at this mountain, and he goes, well, just trust me. You might like this area, Daniel. So I listened to the JMach going down this road. I climbed a mountain, and to make a long story short, yesterday, right before this podcast, I climbed a mountain here next to Phoenix, Arizona. On the top of it, I screamed out loud, my goals. And you when you speak them, you make them happen.
Speak it into existence.
Absolutely. So when you said, you're hesitant on trying things, I was hesitant going down this random road thousands of miles away from where I live into a valley and a mountain, climbing a hill, seeing a sign that says scorpion, spiders, and all this stuff, right? But I tried it, and then ultimately, when I did it, It was one of the most beautiful sceneries that I've seen in my life, with the rolling hills and everything in the backgrounds, the cactus popping up. We seen little birds. We seen a big rabbit. It's a certain type of rabbit. It's not a cottontail, but it's a big one, just jumping around. It's all these little things in life that, look, if I didn't try, I wouldn't have had that experience. So I encourage you just to try. Go in with a positive attitude. And this is a shameless plug with another, YouTuber is Yes Theory, for example. Yes Theory is just saying yes to everything. Okay, so go in, and I know that's very difficult for some people, right? Just go in and just say yes to absolutely everything that you do. Afterwards, if you don't like it, don't do it again. But if you liked it, keep trying it.
That's tricky because for me, I'm trying to no longer be a yes man, and I am trying to put myself first. So I'm learning to say no, and you're over here saying, say yes, motherfucker. No, I don't want to go on that hike with you. I know I need to, but I just don't feel like doing it right now. And I'm really grateful that played out that way, because if you would have said, come on, man, let's go, I was going to go, because I like I told you, I was like, I need to go and I want to go. I'll go with you, but I don't really want to go right now. But something told me, like, dude, he needs to go by himself. He needs this alone time to adjust or just be with nature and himself. And so I'm grateful that you're like, all right, hey, I'm just going to go by myself. And then even when you stop by after your hike, you're like, dude, as much as I wanted you there, I'm so grateful you weren't there.
Yes.
And so it all worked out, right?
It's all about trying. I can't stress that enough. Trying and living your life to its fullest. There's no manual to life. And the people who say, the Bible is the manual, right? That is a great manual. It is. But if everybody reads that Bible, everybody has a different perspective. So ultimately, there's no perfect manual to life. So what I tell people is do the best you can each and every day. And if you didn't do good that night, it's okay. It's seriously okay. It's just like parenting. If you didn't be the best parent that day, because, and it's very difficult being a parent. If you didn't parent that good that day, it's okay. It's okay. Wake up the next day, try a little bit harder. Just try a little bit harder. And like you said, it's okay to say no, but ultimately, are you taking care of yourself? And that's what I stress to people. If you're not taking care of yourself and somebody says, hey, let's go do something, then go and do it. That's Absolutely. The type of yeses that I'm talking about.
All right. Perfect. Thanks for explaining it that way. Let's get right back into your story for a little bit before you motivate me, all right? So did you join the army right out of high school?
Kind of, sort of.
So no.
Well, when I say it like that, I didn't graduate from high school. I had a GED with all the things that I've been through. Okay. I have a GED, so as soon as I got my GED and I had the opportunity, I took a deep breath right there for a reason. I'll never forget this December of 2006, December 2006 is when I made that decision I was going to join the military. My buddy came home on leave for R&R for Christmas leave, and he said, hey, I love it, and you need to join. That was my push. December 25th, I go to my family with absolutely zero presents, and they're all mad at me because I show up with zero presents. I stand up in front of all of them with the biggest smile, saying, hey, I got the biggest present for each one of you. I'm joining the military. They all laughed at me and said, oh, you're never going to be anything. Look at your life, at what you've been through. It was very disheartening. I stayed for about 30 minutes. I walked out. That was December 25th. January 22nd was my first day of boot camp. It was that quick.
That's awesome.
And I never looked back.
I'm glad you were able to use that negativity as a positive and a push for you to pursue what you were going after, right? Mm-hmm. I can say I did similar-ish, right? It's not that I was told I wouldn't make it or be successful, but I was told that they just didn't want me to join. I was told no, right? Yeah. Like, no, you're not doing that. Well, what the fuck you mean I'm not doing that, right? Like, you can't tell me what to... Still let my parents tell me what to do, unfortunately, all the time. But you can't tell me that anymore, right? Like, and you want me to get a real job. here's my real job now, just because it's not what you want. But I used to let that discourage me, right? Like, I have to be the good kid. I have to do what my parents want. It's not my life. It's their life I'm living, you know? And I'm like 35 years old recognizing all this shit as I'm talking to you right here, right now, right? I love my parents. I had a great life, you know, but I never learned to be my own person. And so finally that it was enough motivation that, like, dude, I dropped 60 pounds and I dropped 70 pounds in 6 months to enlist in the Marine Corps. And then I dropped like another 20 in boot camp. And all that weight loss, I still only made weight one time in the Marine Corps. And that was after the Crucible and boot camp. So like 3 days with like 2 MREs or whatever it is. I made my weight.
You're making me jealous because I literally tried to join every branch except the Army, and that was the last one. I tried to be a Navy SEAL. Navy said no. Tried to join the Marines. They were like, oh, you're not tough enough. Look, I'm a little bitty, small, scrawny guy, okay? And then, you know, I literally went through every one. Then the Army was like, oh, yeah, we'll accept you. So
Yeah, I ain't ready for the Marines yet. You know what I mean, brother?
Oh, I love the Marines. You know, whenever we needed anything, we definitely asked the Marines for help. Squared away.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit, what was going from being told you're not going to make anything of yourself to now you're fucking in basic training?
You know, it was basic training was amazing. To be honest, I always watched the military movies. I thought it was going to be, you know, a lot harder than what it was. Honestly,
For sure.
I really thought it was going to be a lot more difficult because, again, all the movies. But going back to, I was very hard-headed and I struggled a lot going all the way into boot camp. Drill Sergeant Jan, I'll never forget him, Y-O-N, and I hope one day I get to meet you. He made me into a man. We had some conversations that I really needed at the time.
Okay.
And I realized that the military isn't made for boys. The military isn't made for people who aren't ready to actually defend our country. And so when you go into boot camp, they have to shape, mold you, and make you become the best of the best to protect our nation. And I took that very, very seriously. Right after Drill Sergeant Jan had that conversation with me. So after that, I took it seriously, and I wanted to spend 20 wonderful years in the military, and I was a food service specialist. I was a cook, serving meals all around the world. A lot of times we didn't get a cook in certain places, you know, especially Iraq. We didn't. It was very, very difficult over there being a cook and only eating mermites. Of people listening who don't know what that is, we put food in a container, like kind of like a shipping container, like a Gatorade container, similar. And it's good for about 4 to 6 hours, and we get to eat leftover food. That's what I called it. So
Okay.
it was very rough a little bit, but we managed and we had fun.
Okay. So what was the rest of your time in, like, after basic and all that?
You know, I bounced around different bases. I was lucky enough to go to Fort Drum, Fort Carson, Korea, Iraq, Kuwait, you know, Colorado. I've been around the world a couple times. My time in the military was wonderful. It really was. There's good and bad with any job, with any employment that you do.
Absolutely.
The negative side of the military, yeah, it's the BS. Nobody likes the BS side. Hurry up and wait, or let's wait for, you know, end of the day formation just for them to tell you to go home. Like, why are we waiting until 8 p.m.? That makes no sense to me, because the commander was there and didn't want to go home or something. The excuses are just wild sometimes,
No, for sure.
right? But then there's the other side of the military, what I absolutely love, and that's what most of the world don't understand, is the military, ultimately, we go in and we assess whatever it is. We develop it to make it better than what it was when we got there. So we ultimately go into places and just leave them better than what we found it. And I love that. Yeah, we build schools. Yeah, we do things, in the movies, of boom, boom and all of that, right? And things that explode and all of this great things that's really cool and movie effects. But in real life, that's dangerous and you have to take that seriously. And I was lucky enough to work with a very special group. We'll call it the team for the listeners. I worked with the team a little bit, and that's where I got hurt. I struggled when I got injured in the military. I struggled very, very long because straight out of high school or, get my GED, I joined the military and I thought, this is what I was going to do for life. And boost the morale, taking care of soldiers. That's what we do. We train, we lead them, we motivate them to be the best soldiers that they can be. And then when you get injured, I broke my neck and my lower back. You're not a soldier anymore. You're not up to standard. It was very hard to accept that. And then afterwards, when you get out the military, you can't find a job when you have an amazing service dog by your side. Who wants a service dog in their employment? And then somebody who's at the VA multiple times a week. And then somebody who says, oh, by the way, if you give me that desk job, we have to remove all that equipment in there. And we have to put in my VA equipment, my ergonomic chair, my desk that raises and lowers. My arms do not work properly. I can't just sit in a chair for too long. There's all these other things. So now logistically, they have to find somewhere to store all of this. So it's just a major headache. And they can't even trust us with a credit card, that has $1,000 on it, even though we were in charge of, billions of dollars of equipment and personnel. It's like we feel like we're nobody sometimes. We feel like we're alone. We lose our purpose when we get out. And I lost my purpose for a long time when I transitioned out the military.
Way to transition into the transition, because my next question was, how was your transition out? And sorry, you were medically separated, not you got out on your own terms, correct?
Correct. I was medically retired out of the Wounded Warrior Battalion.
Okay. I could only imagine how getting something that you were chasing and living, getting ripped away from you without even having a say most of the time, how that could affect you.
After I got injured, one of the team members came up to me and he said, Daniel, if we deploy you, and I know you're fighting right now to go on that deployment with the soldiers I just trained, this is going to be a different deployment. A lot of people aren't going to come back, or they're going to come back and probably not make it. And that's a sad reality, is I'm missing a lot of them to this day. He said, if I can't maintain a mission and somebody else passed away because they were taking care of me and picking up my slack, I couldn't live my life like that. And I go, ooh, that was hard. So during that moment, all the way up to me actually getting in a Wounded Warrior Battalion was about 1.5 years. I had a long time to soak in that and still be around the Army. So it was very difficult during that transition. Then when I got out, what's my purpose? I tried to be a professional bass fisherman.
Okay.
That worked out for a while until my injuries really caught up. As in, being a professional bass fisherman, you're on the road for many days. And then you're practicing on the water for 10, 12 hours a day. With my arms not working properly, it just was adding up. I literally couldn't do it. There was times where I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't even get on a boat. Or I'd be fishing and laying down. It was just a waste, and it just wasn't beneficial. So I started having a lot of health problems after I stopped fishing because I stayed in isolation. Still not finding my purpose. Going to doctors, just, checking the boxes, taking all these pills. And then finally I said, I've had enough. I was a zombie. I couldn't live life and enjoy my family or even take care of my kids properly because of all the medication that I was taking. So I started researching other things. And then I found cannabis. And cannabis has really helped me on a medical aspect. And I stress that as I don't think people should just go off and use anything, a whole bunch. I use it for my pain mentally and physically to help me on my day-to-day life. It's better than taking these pills because on a pills, when I took a pill, it's like I'm stuck like that for 8 hours, or I'm a zombie walking around, or I'm like, it's not good. But with cannabis, I could take a little bit of an edible, ingest a little bit, and I'm normal. Just like this, I'm normal. I've never heard of anybody overdosing on cannabis, but I hear it all the time on these pills, and my tolerance on pills just kept increasing and increasing, where I was taking so many that my wife was seriously scared. My kids were scared, and I can never put them through that ever again. So now I advocate for cannabis and psilocybin and ketamine therapy, and where my service dog and I were recently, in Washington, D.C., advocating on Capitol Hill in support of alternative therapies for our veterans.
Oh, that's amazing. I like to say my support for cannabis is like, when was the last time you heard a Marine burn down a bar because he got too high? Never. When was the last time we burned down a bar because we drank too much? Probably 15 minutes ago, right?
Yep.
But yeah, absolutely. Everything's got to be in control and moderation. So take me down your travels of psilocybin and ketamine. What got you there?
Earlier when we were talking about those nooses and the throat bullets, I got tired of feeling like that. When I hear all these veterans all around, all these organizations, it's like, oh, we can send you here, and we only went once or twice, and I'm better. It's like, I want to be a part of that. I want to be better. I want to be better than what I was yesterday. And for certain words are not allowed on many platforms.
Drop them. We ain't no bitch over at the JMach Podcast.
I literally thought about suicide. Not just daily, weekly, or monthly, but every minute of my life for a very long time. And I don't ever want to feel like that again. And I don't want any other veteran to feel like that. So when I heard that, hey, a little bit of psilocybin may stop that, a little bit of cannabis, a little bit of talking, a little bit of motivate, you see?
Absolutely.
I want to be a part of it. A little bit of the JMach Podcast. This is why I flew. Because this helps not just all the listeners, but it also helps me and a lot of veterans and all the people all around the world.
Myself as well.
So this is my psilocybin today.
Okay. That's the route I'm headed towards, or I'm in right now, right? Mm-hmm. Walk me through it with you. So how did you start?
Not the route that people should start. I would recommend that you find somebody really credible in an organization. There's a lot of veteran organizations out there that will take care of you on that route. I suggest that. I went my own route and did it on my own. I do not recommend that because I didn't have a good support system, and I'm sure I could have been 1,000 times better. So
yeah,
have that support system. But when it comes to psilocybin, I did microdose for a few days. And during that microdosing, it really opened up my eyes on life. Like, life is just too short. Look, we can't change the past. We can't change the past. I stress this again. We can't change the past, but we can change the future. So accept whatever happened yesterday, a minute ago, whatever. It's done. It's over. Who cares? Right? I said what I said. I did what I did. I took that drink when I did. Whatever. Right? Who cares anymore? I don't. But what I care about is what's going to happen in the future. And I can change the future, just like you can change it, by being a part of it and being active in it. And that's what psilocybin has taught me. Focus on the future, not the past.
Okay. And ketamine, you did it by yourself too, or did you go to a treatment center?
No, I did not do ketamine.
Okay.
But I support it because of the research behind it. It's one of those. I know that Paducah, Kentucky, they're doing a trial there right now for ketamine in veterans, along with the Johns Hopkins Hospital, and then places in Washington, D.C. as well. All of these are alternative therapies, just like going on that hike. It's an alternative therapy.
Sure.
My service dog, and I stress, I stress all the time about the therapies that help veterans, except these pills that we're just, handing over, or all this alcohol that we're constantly giving veterans at every single event, or every event just full of alcohol. Let's go to this, event that's at a bar. It's like, come on, psilocybin is clinically proven to be safer than every other drug, including alcohol, cannabis, ketamine, everything. It's clinically proven. So why wouldn't we want to support something like that for our veterans?
Yeah, no, I completely understand it. I didn't know that it was scientifically proven that, but I feel like I'm in talk therapy right now, and I actually enjoy it again. And I'm ready to make a breakthrough. I just got to keep waiting because we're only allowed to do it every other week, right? But yeah, I am more. This past year, I've definitely. Would you say I went more like holistic route? Oh yeah. Obviously, I smoked cannabis after I got out of the Marine Corps. And that, but first I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, bro. I did not know how to properly smoke, and apparently I was trying to suck a golf ball through a garden hose. Every time I smoked, I would burn my throat. I never felt like I got high. I was like, why the fuck do people like this shit, dude?
Yes.
And then I properly learned and started to use it more therapeutic, right? Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure I still cross into the recreational world of it, but I'm a better human being. I'm a better parent. I'm a better husband. I'm a better man when I'm high on cannabis than when I'm drunk or drinking, right? When I'm drinking, I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know what that next drink is going to do. I have a control issue, and I just want to feel the benefits of being drunk. So I treat it as a sprint when it's actually a marathon, and I'll end up waking up with more regret, remorse, like depressed, like, fuck, what did I say? Who do I got to apologize to? How much money did I spend? Am I safe? Is my car okay? Did I drive home? I don't have those fears anymore.
Exactly.
But yeah, dude, I'm definitely more on the holistic side. I've started to microdose myself. And literally within like the first day or two of microdosing, I felt that someone explained it as that depression cloud. It lifted off. I say I just the colors colored again, right? The blue sky's blue. The grass is green. It's not that dull color anymore. So
you
it's
found
super
happiness
beneficial.
again. And I don't mean
that.
And I don't mean that it's true happiness, but you found like, hey, I know how to be happy for a little bit, and I know what I can see in the future. But it just opens up a little bit. It's up to you to keep going.
For sure. I don't know if I would say that I've learned or it showed me how to be happy again. I guess so. I think it took away the mundane part of the daily routine, and it made living again, right? Not more like, exciting. Oh, dude. Say it again?
More exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Like doing the simple task of making my bed in the morning doesn't seem as much as a chore as like, I'm grateful I get to make this bed in the morning.
But when you said it wasn't dull anymore.
For
like
sure.
you look at the green grass better. You make your bed. It's all these little things. It's that happiness, right? How I explain psilocybin is it started tunnel vision, all right? It started tunnel vision with you. Basically, tunnel vision is that little bitty hole. It just showed you that hole. It's up to you to make it bigger and bigger and bigger, right?
Yeah.
But if you do it too much, that hole's going to close. So we still have to adapt and find coping ways to get through what we're going through. So like you said, it didn't fix everything. It's not going to. There's no magic pill for anything.
Ibogaine. Ayahuasca.
I think it's the exact same as psilocybin, though. So ibogaine is legal in Kentucky for drug addicts, but not for veterans. And that's what I'm really fighting for in Kentucky, because that's not okay. Example, in my town, you can Google Elizabethtown, Kentucky, veteran organizations, and only one pops up. You Google drug addict organizations, over 100 pop up, and we're right next to a military base, and we're not taking care of our veterans. So this is very concerning. So it's like, when they push that in Kentucky, why are we not even doing it for our veterans?
For sure. I also think, like, why are we waiting until they're veterans? One of my next of many steps is going to be going straight to the military bases and starting there. Let me start the seed of mental health and worrying about yourself and taking care of yourself while you're still in, and you still have the majority of the resources, as well as, bro, when you're active duty, we have an undeniable daily doses of group therapy. Whether we want it or not, we're surrounded by like-minded individuals that are in the same suck, the same bullshit, and I can joke about the noose or the suicide or XYZ and not be waiting for the sirens coming to pick me up, right?
Yeah.
Because our buddies are thinking the same thing, or they understand that it's a serious joke, but it's still a joke, you know? It's different ways that we're able to cope. So why are we waiting until we're out and we're lost?
I agree. I 100% agree. You know, that transition going through, I think it's called like ACAP or WCAP or something like that. It's basically where you go to all those classes when you transition out the military to really set you up for success. But we all know every single veteran did one of two things. They either hurried up through all of that just to hurry up and get out, or they actually took care of themselves. 90% of the time, it's to hurry up and get out. Nobody cares about those classes. They're death by PowerPoint. They're not fun. They're teaching
you to write your name on a resume.
Yeah, it's things that are very basic, but they teach it at a kindergarten level that's death to PowerPoint. Yeah. And this is why nobody wants it. And that's why they skate out, and then they get out, and we have all these homeless veterans and people who struggle like me and you. And then we ultimately have this podcast, and me being on this podcast to tell our story, like, hey, we need to change this. We have to change it to help them.
How long until there's a transition school for military personnel, right? Like when we get out, how we're literally just sent free. Some civilian explained this to me really well. And he said, dude, they train you to kill, but they don't train you not to kill anymore. But they expect you to get out and not kill.
So I just had an idea right now. Why don't we come up with a 6-month kind of like probation? Every veteran or every service member, when they get out, they should have at least 6 months like probation, or not even 6, whatever the time is that you were in boot camp should be the same time transition when you get out, to make sure that they're actually taken care of. And this is on the civilian side. So as soon as they get out, they're going to be, it's kind of like a probation. Yeah. You know, you're on probation for the same amount of time on boot camp, and you'll still get paid, and you have to report to make sure that we're actually taking care of them. I love your idea, and I want you to go ahead and do that, brother. I think you're the man
you
for
want
it.
Me to? All right, find the funding and the time, and I'll do it. I have the plan and the concept. I get it. I know what I need to do. I know what needs to be done.
All right,
help me get the funding.
The funding right now, we need each and every one of you to hit that thumbs up button, comment down below, subscribe
like, follow,
to the
subscribe,
channel.
share.
And send all of those donors this way, because the JMach Podcast, he has some great things coming down. And why wouldn't you want to be a part of that? So, donors, everybody who wants to be a part of it, hey, jump on it. Let's go.
Yeah. Our audio engineer, Corey's going to put the link right here for you. But yeah, you know, they have, I've been trying to think of the program this whole time as you were talking.
Describe it. I might help.
You can do it for up to 6 months, I believe, before you get out of the military, where you're like an intern at a company or a school, and they're teaching you a career and a craft. And then you're still getting paid by the DOD. You're still on your last 6 months of your contract, but you're no longer reporting to your unit. You're going to the school.
But that's only for select individuals. That's not for everybody.
That is supposed to be for everybody. if you sign up and get approved and your chain of command approves it.
Oh, so that's the key though, right there that you said, right? You have to get it approved. And
Right.
you know that that's the hardest thing on any military
For sure.
to get something approved. And I think a more streamlined process by saying, no, we need to actually go to Congress and talk to the right people and saying, no, we actually need to change contracts.
But what I'm saying is if they allow that program, how come everybody within your last 3 months of getting out aren't going through a transition readiness program? Like we did go through TRS, right? Or people call it TAPS or whatever acronym you said. But how come it's not mandated? You're going to get them out and then you're still going to technically pay the motherfucker, right? With the disability and whatever else they're going to get or we get, right? I'm not bashing that either, by the way. I'm just saying, like, why not start it? Like, what are you going to do? If you're 3 months from getting out 9 out of 10 times, if not 11 out of 10 times, you've already dropped your pack. It's like senioritis senior year. You're going to graduate. Even if you didn't submit another homework assignment, you're not going to fail out. You're still going to graduate, right? So you drop pack. And besides, the last 3 months, you're trying to check the fuck out because it takes that goddamn long, especially with SIF. You know, also, if you're trying to go through SIF and you're in California, hit up All Clear Gear. Shameless post. Yep.
Oh, the controversy with All Clear Gear.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's crazy. I bet you it's all because somebody that will lose their contract, i.e. SIF, is upset about it, right? He's out there cleaning gear, making that Marine still functioning for his unit because he's not worried about taking apart his gear, cleaning it to the SIF level clean, right? And that's an issue. Now he's not even supposed to be on base or making content with military members in uniforms and shit. Like, who's so tied up? Let's get back to us, bro.
Yeah.
All Clear Gear, Rob, we love you. You're known in fucking Kentucky too, all right?
Oh, yeah. That your post is going around. Everybody has been sharing and supporting you, brother.
For sure. But yeah, how come? What is that fucking program I'm speaking of? I don't know. But the point is, we need to start it.
Absolutely.
I don't even care. Maybe we start it as like a volunteer thing where they do it after hours, after work hours. They come to the classroom setting. They come to where we go to them, whatever. But we teach them life skills again. You know, life skills in the military versus life skills in the civilian world, completely different. They overlap, pretty similar, but completely different. We need a fucking speech class because you don't need to say fuck every goddamn word in the civilian world.
So I'm glad that you brought that up because the hardest thing, especially with my company, Motivate.com, Motivate LLC, we motivate everybody all around the world because what's your motive to get to your fate? Now, when I talk to people and, you know, Fortune 500 companies and stuff, I have to watch what I say because a lot of us were like, oh, we're going to execute this. And they're like, what are you going to do? It's like, oh, I apologize, mission complete. And they're like, huh? No, excuse me. You need to say it. The task has finished or the task is completed. So it's that this verbiage, you know, we've been doing this for not just months. We've been doing it for years, every single day, from sun up to sundown, drilled in us. The people who were around talk like this. So we can't be like, oh, go get that 5.56 real quick, you know. And no, we're definitely not talking like that in the civilian world. So this transition is definitely something that we need and will help veterans all around.
I feel like it'll help all aspects, right? I think it could potentially save money in the VA, right? Because we're reaching them and giving them these tools that they need before it's required.
Yes.
Right? Because the transition, I don't care if you're military, a baseball player, softball, a firefighter, police officer, anything like that. Even a teacher, bro. You take off that teacher uniform, now what's your title? You're no longer Mr. Daniel. You're just Daniel again. And like that hurts. That hurts sometimes. And you feel lost. And like schooling or teaching and being in the military or playing the sport, that was you have to give it everything to be the best you can fucking be. You have to give it all your energy and all your time, right? What do you do at that time when it's over? When you don't even have the option sometimes. A lot of times people get out without a choice. They have no choice, you know?
That's a good transition for me to say. I struggle with that exact thing that you're describing right now, and those sentences that you said. When you're in the military, your mission is given to you to either complete a mission or to take care of soldiers. Just like our teachers, just like doctors. When they go and retire, it's like, what do I do? Ultimately, you go and you take care of your community. You volunteer. You be a part of the JMach Podcast. You be a part of things in the community. Because when you have this downtime now that you should be relaxing because you've earned it, okay? Either being disabled or retire or whatever. Now it's time to give back a little bit more. Give back and be a part of amazing things. That's what I've learned. It's to be a part of everything and anything that you can.
Absolutely. You can't stay complacent because complacency kills. Also, it's called skill bridge. If you've never heard of it.
Yes, skill bridge.
That's what I was trying to describe that whole time, and I couldn't think of it. It's called skill bridge. How come there's not a skill bridge for mental health, or just how come skill bridge isn't required or given to everybody? Right? Like, we may have signed up to go to boot camp, but we had no choice. We were there. Yes. Right? You're getting out of the military, right? You're not even going to help the mission. You're going to help the mission, right? But eventually you're going to leave. You're going to be done. That downtime in between time is like a waste for everybody around most of the time, right? Because you drop that ship. And I had leadership or a leader that once you got out, like, or chose to get out, it's like he disowned you because he was proud to be a Marine and lifers are nothing, right? Well, he's out now. So I wonder how he's doing, and I'm not attacking him. Like, I'd love to have him on this podcast, even though he's a great guy. I would love to hear a story. I would want to see how he's affected. But the thing is, I don't know if he would actually tell me the truth either. I feel like he would keep that persona on, and like he would only tell his real boys how he's feeling, you know? But that doesn't fucking matter. What matters is, like, why aren't we getting the help we need? We're reactive. Why are we reactive to everything? Why not be proactive? You know, why aren't we proactive on our mental health?
That was tough right there, what you just said. Why we are reactive to everything. Wow, that one hit home right there.
JMach zinger.
Huh.
Think about it. You didn't care about your health until you had to react to it and you had to fucking fix it. And even now, with me and my health and my physical pains and all that shit, right? I'm still reactive.
We're trained like that. We weren't trained to be, we were trained a little bit to be proactive, but you react to be proactive. Does that make sense?
As the situation is going to dictate for sure.
Yes. We always react to everything right away. And first immediate response, we have to do something.
Anger and aggression.
And then we go and assess. But instead, now we should assess.
We should assess before it's needed.
Yes.
Right? Because with mental health, we have to react. We can't just sit there and assess like, oh shit, is Daniel really suicidal? Or is he just crying out for help? If you think about that, it's going to be too late for Daniel. Yes. Especially if he's actually suicidal. You know, if Daniel's actually going through something and he's in a crisis right now, I don't need to assess it. I do need to react to it, right? But I want to get to Daniel before Daniel needs that reaction. So when I got out of the military, bro, I can guarantee you with this, like, or most people, I did go to therapy in the military too.
Oh, I did too.
But most people, when you get out of the military, I had the same mindset, like, fuck that, dude. I'm going to be fine. All these things you're telling me, that shit ain't going to happen to me. I'm going to keep my head on straight. I'm going to stay fit. I'm going to stay this. I'm going to do that. Wrong.
None of it happened. Right. We all thought like that. And then it was like, oh, we'll just give it one more day. Next thing you know, it's years upon years. And then you got into this rabbit hole that you really struggle to get out of and see that light at the end of that tunnel.
Yes,
it's hard.
So you became reactive and created Motivate.
Yep.
Tell me about it.
So I started my own business about a year and a month ago. It was last March. Thank you. Before I started my business, I was going around helping different organizations, being on news, really just telling my story and supporting them. And I was doing all that for free. And then somebody said, why aren't you getting paid for this? And I go, I didn't know you can get paid to be a speaker. And then I started to make a business plan. I heard about Warrior Rising. Warrior Rising is similar to Bunker Labs and some other organizations that teach veterans how to build a business plan. They have cohorts too and business showers. And ultimately at the end, you can pitch your business and they just help you grow and help development so you can actually be successful. So I started doing that, and within a couple months, I started launching what I do, and I speak. I speak at events for the military, disability, and at-risk youth. Because of everything that I've been through as a child, I let everybody know that they're not alone. Then the military, exact same thing. You're not alone. And then the disability community, a lot of all these three categories, you see how those three categories, not a lot of people talk about those. Not a lot of military wants to talk about, I'm not as tough as I once was. And a lot of disability community want to say, well, I struggle with finances. I'm on a fixed income. Healthcare sucks. They don't talk about all of these things. And then the at-risk youth, it's like, I don't want any of my friends to know what I'm going through. So I talk to each one of them now. It's awesome. Let them know that you're not alone, to help them figure out what their fate is, just like on my shirt. Because motivate, if you've been listening really closely, I've been saying it wrong. It's not motivation or motivate. It's motivate with an F. Because what is your motive to get to your fate? And I just help people understand, like, hey, well, we can get you to your end goal. We can get there. But why do you want to get there? Why do you want to have this podcast? Why, JMach? Why do you want to do this podcast?
To save myself. And the cherry on top is helping whoever else is listening or sitting at the chair next to me.
So that you just explained what your motive is to get to where you want to go.
Absolutely. And I love that you keep preaching that you're not alone, because one of our sayings that I want to say Corey actually created or reworded for us is that your mental health matters and you're not alone. Because it's a simple fucking reminder that you're not alone. Because even to this day, I still feel like I'm alone sometimes. And I'm in a room with two gentlemen that I look up to and I'm grateful to have in my life. But sometimes I still feel like I'm alone in that, like, yeah, you have your own struggles, but they don't relate to mine, or mine is not as worthy as your struggles, right? But that comparison, that's the root of evil right there. You can't compare or contrast or anything like that, right? Mm-hmm. You can't look back, like you said. You got to only focus on the future. And that's a struggle for me too, is I'm stuck in the past. Like if I got hurt in the past, I'll find things that align with similar hurt, and it'll cause rifts and riffles in my current life. And I think my wife's sick of that shit by now, because I'm sick of it, right? So I can only imagine how she feels.
Then let's change it.
That's why I'm going to the psychedelics, brother. No, I don't want to sound like a hippie, or actually I don't care if I sound like a hippie, but I don't want to make it cool. I want to make it medicinal. I want to do it because I am trying to heal. And I do feel like I have blockers, whether it's self-blockers or blockers I don't even remember, but they're up there blocked, and I need to break through that. Mm-hmm. I feel like I've been able to break through a little bit in talk therapy, but I feel like I've almost hit the end of talk therapy, because now I'm just continuing talking about it. A former guest of mine, and she gets brought up a lot, Rose Wild, she reminded us that trauma lives in your body, right? So what is talk therapy doing? All you're doing is talking about it and reliving it, but that trauma is still within you. So what are you doing to release that trauma?
Yeah. Going back to you said you're not alone. We've been a while on here on the podcast, and for the listeners who are still here, y'all are awesome. Here's a awesome tidbit also for JMach here. About a month ago, I was invited over to the Bluegrass Hall of Fame in Kentucky, and some artists decided to listen to my story similar to on this podcast, and they're writing a song as we speak, and it should be out at the end of this month, beginning of next month.
That's cool.
Named You Are Not Alone.
Okay.
Or Never Alone.
That's amazing.
Again, like you said, letting everybody know just because you listen to my challenges and you're like, man, he's been through a lot. My challenges are no different from yours, the person you're sitting next to, the person that you're going to listen to next to, anything. You know, everybody has faced a challenge, and the key word is a challenge. Some are big, some are little. Who cares? It's still a challenge. Past, current, or future. It's okay. You'll get through them. But again, know that you're not alone, brother.
Absolutely. Likewise, Daniel. You're not alone either, brother. So I am going to need to start wrapping this up a little bit.
Yeah.
So do you have any saved rounds, anything I missed that you would like to discuss or talk about?
You know, out of everything that I've said, I can't stress it enough. You are not alone with what you're going through, past, currently, or in the future. There is help out there for everybody, absolutely everybody, in every single situation, and there is free help out there for everybody in every situation. I can't stress this enough. Just you got to look for it. You have to look for it. There's free service dogs. There's free organizations that'll give out, you know, maybe some water, you know, maybe it might be a food pantry. Maybe it might, you know, be somewhere else. There's always something to help out, counseling to different types of therapies, you name it, go out there and find it. Because ultimately, if you want to make your life better, then go and do it.
Yeah, you actually have to put in the work. We can't just sit here and talk about how we want a better life. We want to change X. We want to change Z. Well, if you're not putting in the work at A, you're not going to get to be able to change Z. So that was a great ending message. Last but not least, how can Daniel and the Fluffy Poodle be found?
Well, first and foremost, each one of you can follow us on The Fluffy Poodle, those 3 words, The Fluffy Poodle on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and you can also check us out at motivate.com. That's MOTIVEFATE, motivate.com, where you can also buy some of this merch, get you a hoodie, and hire and book us for your next event. If it's a lunch and learn, a conference, you name it. We will love to come add value to you, your life, and to what you're doing, just like we did to the JMach Podcast, to ultimately make the world a better place.
It's awesome, brother. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate you.
No, thank you, JMach Podcast, and all the listeners. And again, like, comment, subscribe.
My pleasure.